If you want to remain stoic, you have to realize that nothing outside of yourself can make you feel angry. Your thoughts regarding these things that are perceived as subjective in Stoicism are occurrences themselves, simply are what they are. But how we understand these occurrences, our subjective perspective of things, is what has the potential to either uplift or depress us. You see, the Stoics took life's basic ingredients and were anxious to use their wits for their own gain, the uncontrollable circumstances, and concentrate only on how they can benefit them. This is imagine a mind that, despite all odds, finds opportunity and strength in. The first lesson of fate is to learn how to use your sense, to manage contemporary distractions in a time when the lesson 1, handle contemporary distractions, social media's constant chatter, the information's constant flood, and the constant allure of entertainment. Marcus Aurelius' Stoic philosophy provides a haven of clarity and serenity. The knowledge that we have control over our thoughts and not the outside world is the cornerstone of Stoicism, according to Aurelius. Chaotic tornado of outside circumstances, attempting to disturb our inner peace. You have control over your, Aurelius says, realize this and you will find strength. Mind not external happenings. This lesson, which is fundamental to the practice of Stoicism, shows the way to tranquility in the face of contemporary distractions. By embracing this viewpoint, we empower ourselves to carefully sort through the deluge of sensations and information, concentrating only on what genuinely deserves our attention. The Stoic practice starts with a thorough investigation of our senses, pushing us to distinguish between our subjective interpretations of events and their actual reality in the face of an abundance of social media platforms, entertainment opportunities, and it's simple to become caught up in a never-ending loop of reaction and lose sight of our agency in the process. But by using Aurelius's insight, we are able to stop, consider, and ask ourselves, is it something I can manage, and does it fit with my objectives and values? This reflective practice serves as a filter that allows us to focus our attention on worthwhile and enjoyable pursuits, rather than being overtaken by the wave of digital distraction in today's pressured society. Calls for purposeful, live in a world where decisions are made stoically, without being influenced by force or habit. Understanding and consistency are necessary for discernment when embracing this Stoic concept. Utilization in our everyday lives, where we are inundated with alerts, news cycles, and the current trends. It's imperative to continue visiting our Stoic center. We have to promptly recalibrate any time the din of outside distractions disturbs our sense of calm. Aurelius suggests that we adhere to our Stoic beliefs, but this does not imply retreating from the outside world or turning off all technology in favor of keeping a watchful eye on our attention. By consistently practicing this, we not only strengthen our resistance to the distractions of time and the contemporary environment, but also develop a life with depth and calmly. In doing so, we live not as obedient cultural pawns, but as Lesson 2, Concentration Power Lesson 2, Stoics who, in the face of turmoil, discover courage, clarity, and calm inside the fortress of their own thoughts, the power of focus and simplicity in the never-ending bustle of today's society, where technology and although commercialization promises enjoyment, it frequently merely serves to divert. The Stoic philosophy provides a welcome diversion from the quest for simplicity. A wise man named Marcus Aurelius says in The Art of Living that having too much on one's plate leads to distraction, even if it is ancient, has a deep resonance with the modern soul under attack from the cacophony of contemporary diversions. The cult of simplicity is not just about reducing material belongings, but broadens to a more important domain, the streamlining of our mental and emotional landscapes. By opting for a more modest way of living, we reject the outside clamor for our attention and instead develop an intentional, concentrated life, fostering inner calm in a time of information overload, and cultivating inner silence becomes a rebellious act when digital clutter becomes the norm. Quietude is not about the lack of sound, but about creating an unbroken condition of mental and emotional tranquility. By the chaos of the world, Stoicism instructs us to construct an inner citadel, a stronghold of tranquility that is unbreakable by outside forces. To do this, we must routinely turn inward and disengage from the constant barrage of stimuli vying for our attention on social media, news, and emails. By engaging in mindfulness and meditation, we can become aware of our thoughts and feelings, giving us the clarity to decide which outside influences actually need our attention without attachment and which do not prioritize our inner peace. We establish a haven of calm inside ourselves. Can always go back to the discipline of focus, despite outside noise. Focus discipline is a crucial weapon in the Stoic arsenal against the din of contemporary society. That encourages multitasking and constant bustle. Stoicism extends an invitation to us to act in the opposite way, giving our whole attention to the current task as if it were our last. This deep concentration is about completely interacting with our current deeds and obligations, providing them with the consideration and care they merit, about taking each task one at a time, carefully and earnestly, kindly, voluntarily, and with Aurelius for justice, suggests that this strategy improves not only the caliber of our output, but also our contentment with life in general. By focusing more narrowly, we protect ourselves from outside distractions that divide our concentration and sap our motivations for. By doing this, we discover that our everyday endeavors are more fulfilling and productive. Therefore, discipline of attention is a philosophical position that affirms the worth of rather than just being a tool for efficiency, of every instant and our ability to decide how to use our limited time while upholding the Stoic principles of with grace and balance. We traverse the contemporary world via simplicity and focus. By developing inner peace and exercising concentration, we can learn to tune out the surrounding cacophony. Lesson 3. Tranquility and Meaningful Purpose-Based Living. Lesson 3. Adaptability in the digital era, accepting Stoic resilience in the digital age, where diversions are a necessary consequence, although Stoicism frequently provides a durable perspective on the core of our everyday relationships. Resilience as a solution, this age-old ideology that emphasizes internal strength and the development of a moral life, offer a guide for confronting the challenges of contemporary existence without yielding to its ceaseless demands, as the Stoics realize that obstacles in life, such as the allure of distractions, present chances for development and self-improvement. By adopting a Stoic attitude and using technology as a tool for improvement, we may approach the digital world with intention. This course explores how we might use Stoic ideals to progress rather than serving as a never-ending source of distraction. Resilience in the face of contemporary distractions, emphasizing the development of self-control and the application of considering contemporary distractions and developing self-control in them. Self-control is the capacity to withstand the never-ending assault of digital notifications, social media scrolls, and instant satisfaction of knowledge. The Stoic practice of self-control involves acknowledging and embracing pleasure instead of rejecting it, putting long-term contentment and well-being ahead of impulsive, short-term desires. Marcus Aurelius tells us that we control our thoughts, not external circumstances. Understand this, and by using this idea, you will find strength. We learn to stop and consider our reactions to such distractions, considering whether interacting with them advances our own development and corresponds with our ideals. This pause is essential because it allows us the room to exercise self-control by deliberately selecting our behaviors as opposed to instinctively responding. We can establish limits on how we use technology, designate specific hours for social media and email checks, and participate in digital detoxes. These techniques assist us in regaining control over our attention and time, enabling us to concentrate on what really matters, the practice of reflection, and live more completely in the moment. Reflection. A key component of Stoic practice is routinely analyzing our ideas, deeds, and motivations. Behind them, in the struggle against contemporary distractions, contemplation is an effective technique for comprehending our vulnerability to digital noise and for reiterating our resolve to lead Stoic lives by considering our everyday experiences. We can spot behavioral patterns that veer us off course and away from our essential beliefs. Self-examination enables us to make more thoughtful decisions about how we connect with others and adjust our course. Technology and how we spend our attention can help us reflect. Writing in a notebook, practicing meditation, going outside, or engaging in any other activity that promotes reflection and offers clarity. By regularly reflecting, we have a better knowledge of who we are and where we fit in the world. It bolsters our ability to withstand distractions that compete for our attention by adopting Stoic resilience. In the digital age entails actively avoiding distractions rather than merely avoiding them. Establishing self-control and reflection as guiding principles in our life. And by doing so, we not only lessen the influence of outside noise, while simultaneously increasing our ability to live virtuously and peacefully. Regardless of the time period, we respect the Stoic resolve to lead a meaningful and pious life. Amid the turmoil of digital media, we find ourselves in Lesson 4, Cultivating Stoic Mindfulness. Lesson 4, Maintaining Calm Amid Digital Pandemonium. In the modern digital environment, where diversions not only fight for our attention, but frequently take it with little resistance, the Stoic discipline of mindfulness appears as a source of purpose and clarity. In the Stoic awareness comprises both a perceptive assessment of the present moment and a profound awareness of what is important and what is not. This old philosophical position provides an alternative to the disarray of focus and the superficial involvement that characterize our relationships with by practicing Stoic awareness in the digital age. We arm ourselves with the capacity to use equilibrium and intention to manage the constant barrage of inputs and information. This lesson examines how to employ Stoic mindfulness in the real world to develop a calm and concentrated mind. In the skill of present moment awareness, or Stoic mindfulness, starts with the digital turmoil that surrounds us. The technique of cultivating present moment awareness, which entails intentionally focusing our attention on the present moment, witnessing our feelings, thoughts, and sensations without passing judgment. In the midst of contemporary distractions, such awareness serves as a filter that aids in separating what actually needs our attention from what may be ignored. Marcus Aurelius instructed to focus every minute on completing the task at hand with accuracy and sincerity, just like a man would in Rome. Sincerity. By using this deliberate approach to our everyday activities and relationships, we not only improve our efficiency as well as our contentment with the task at hand. Present moment awareness calls for self-control and practice, particularly when surrounded by the thoughtless habit of ignoring messages and the allure of digital scrolling, but by consistently partaking in mindfulness, promoting activities like mindfulness walking or deep breathing techniques during meditation, we bolster our capacity to stay focused and unaffected in the digital age by exercising discernment and selecting engagement. Using discernment in judgment and selective action is another essential component of Stoic awareness. Engagement, which is making thoughtful decisions about how to focus our attention and energy in accordance with the Stoic ideals of morality and discernment. In a society when all apps and websites vie for our attention and the capacity to refuse. The Stoics taught us that nothing is more important than what is unneeded. Every perspective or trend regarding an occurrence merits a response or even notice from us. Using discernment, we acquire the ability to move around the digital world with a purpose and to interact with others only when necessary. With material that improves our quality of life and is consistent with our beliefs, this deliberate engagement not only prevents digital clutter from overwhelming us, but also makes sure that our encounters with technology are meaningful and satisfying. In our view, depth over breadth and quality over quantity. In the midst of digital chaos, internet use that fosters Stoic mindfulness is not a passive retrench from technology in favor of a proactive, thoughtful approach to living sensibly and well in the modern world. We recover our power by practicing discernment, judgment, and developing present-moment awareness. By pulling our focus away from distractions and toward what is actually important, we exemplify the Stoic goal of a purposeful existence, one that is peaceful, resilient, and endures despite the digital age's turbulence. Lesson 5. Setting stern boundaries for a Lesson 5. Limitations of Stoicism. Balanced digital life in a time when technology serves as both a tool and a trap. Stoic boundaries become crucial for safeguarding our mental health and keeping things in balance. The Stoics, with their emphasis on virtue, restraint, and reason, provide priceless teachings on establishing boundaries to safeguard our time, attention, and mental well-being. From the constant demands from digital diversions can be met by carefully putting in place stern boundaries. This lesson teaches us to use technology in a way that benefits us rather than getting drawn into its addictive habits, examines the application of Stoic wisdom to establish a balanced digital life, emphasizing the doable actions we can reduce outside distractions and increase our interaction with the real world, giving the real world priority. Interactions. Giving priority to in-person relationships over virtual ones is one of the core Stoic limits. The Stoics recognized the need of direct human involvement in creating meaningful relationships and personal growth. Whereas, in comparison, the digital sphere frequently provides a watered-down form of interaction characterized by surface-level exchanges and a fictitious feeling of community. To draw this line, we must decide how much time and effort to devote to social interactions, alone time, and in-person chats. Activities that develop our inner selves. For example, designating certain periods of the day for using digital devices away from promoting extra face-to-face relationships with loved ones or taking part in pastimes and pursuits that avoid using screens. By doing this, we improve not just our personal, but moreover fortify our resistance to the solitary impacts of high digital consuming. Regulating digital. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the Stoic concept of moderation is essential to managing digital consumption, that the best way to avoid distraction is to have the simplest lifestyle possible. Applying this to when it comes to our digital habits, we need to be mindful of the media we watch, the applications we use, and the time we spend using them. In this case, imposing Stoic boundaries online is placing restrictions on our digital engagement, whether by setting up tech-free zones in our homes or using applications to track our screen time or making regular digital detoxification commitments. These activities assist us in developing a mindset of digital minimalism in which we use technology with thought and purpose as opposed to. Whether obsessive or thoughtless, the goal is to create an environment where technology is used as a tool for our well-being rather than a never-ending source of distraction. Setting rigid boundaries for a healthy digital life is a continuous process that calls for continuing attention and modification as our conditions and technology itself change. But by utilizing the Stoic Principles app to govern our digital usage and world interactions, we can traverse the complexity of the modern world more easily and happily. This methodology not only improves our own and communal welfare, but also corresponds with the Stoic quest of a good, meaningful life that has been lived in harmony with the natural world and rationale, even in the era of widespread digital use. Lesson 6. Cultivating Lesson 6. Self-compassion, inner serenity in the digital tempest. While attempting to embrace digital solitude and block out the cacophony of contemporary distractions stands out as a practice that transforms. Stoic solitude is not the same as about solitude or loneliness, but rather about discovering inner strength and clarity. It's a conscious retreat. From the noise of the digital sphere to re-establish our thoughts, values, and core identities are in this peaceful area, free from the incessant ping of alerts, and the temptation of never-ending scrolling gives us the chance to think, dream, and plan with purpose. Part of the digital solitude habit is scheduling certain times to disengage from the internet. We can partake in soul-nourishing hobbies like reading, writing, meditation, or these alone teams in nature are not me in English or ineffective. Instead, they serve as the rich soil where our greatest inspirations and insights grow. When they are consistently, by accepting digital isolation, we restore our focus and inner tranquility, strengthening our defenses against the constant demands of the digital age, leading to a stoic detachment in development, is essential to reducing the negative effects of contemporary distractions on our lives. This doesn't imply getting sick or apathy toward the outside world, while maintaining a safe distance from the things that demand our attention, realizing that things don't define who we are or what makes us happy, as detachment teaches to interact with technology and digital media without getting emotionally involved or letting them control us. It's about noticing the inclinations to check our phones or explore social media and assess our mood and sense of self-worth, deciding not to respond to them right away. This approach is based on the Stoic idea that we have power over our responses, not over outside circumstances or other people's behavior. By practicing this type of detachment, we improve our capacity to concentrate on the things that really count, our deeds and virtues. With our contributions to the world around us, we acquire the ability to employ technology as a tool for Stoic detachment. Our advantage rather than allowing it to exploit us, resulting in a more contented and balanced digital life by accepting effective techniques for navigating the digital world with digital solitude and Stoic detachment. Digital moderation stands out as a guiding principle in the Stoic pursuit of a balanced existence, particularly in light of our digital habits. The Stoic route to digital moderation is about striking a harmonic balance that is in line with our higher ideals and aspirations in life, not about giving up technology entirely. This harmony protects our time, attention, and well-being, while enabling us to take advantage of the advantages of connectivity and information availability. Digital moderation entails putting restrictions on our technology use, such as designated tech-free days or hours, and emphasizing the value of our digital interactions above their number. By exercising digital moderation, we uphold the Stoic ideal of restraint and reasoned judgment by deciding to use technology in ways that are significant, worthwhile, and authentically ourselves. By putting Stoic methods for digital discipline into practice and following the Stoic route to digital moderation, we can adopt a number of techniques that encourage self-control and awareness when using technology. One useful technique is the Stoic exercise of periodic abstinence, in which we purposefully stop using specific digital platforms or devices for a set amount of time. This exercise helps us better appreciate our offline experiences and tests our self-control by offering a welcome break from the constant digital engagement, Every day or every week, we should reflect on our digital habits, evaluate how well they serve our aims, and pinpoint areas where we can improve. Cultivating interests and activities away from screens is another beneficial strategy. We build a disciplined approach to technology through these Stoic practices, which encourage us to discover joy and fulfillment in the real world. This ensures that our digital lives are in harmony with our philosophical principles and contribute to our general well-being. We meet the difficulties of the digital age with wisdom and balance when we follow the Stoic path to digital moderation. These techniques, wisdom and equity, allow us to retreat from the verge of digital bombardment, to re-evaluate our goals and interact with the digital world in a way that suits us. By doing this, we not only our psychological and emotional health, while also living more in line with Stoic principles of finding happiness and meaning in a world that frequently appears to be created to confuse and confound. Lesson 7. Lesson 7. Resilience in Stoicism. The first stage in developing Stoic fortitude against digital overwhelm. Setting specific goals for our digital interaction is a smart way to combat digital overwhelm. Exercise entails evaluating our basic beliefs and how our online behaviors relate to them by establishing goals. We transition from being passive users of digital content to being engaged users who make use of technology in ways that enhances our lives and fosters our personal development. This may entail goals like using social media to spend quality time with loved ones and create memorable memories instead of wasting time, mindlessly scrolling through feeds or opting to consume inspirational and educational digital information instead of content that encourages negativity or creates distractions. Aims necessitatis, that we consider the motivations behind our digital interactions and make decisions that reflect our actual goals and principles. We need to examine ourselves if this digital activity enhances my personal growth and well-being, or does it take away from it. By frequently reviewing and by focusing on our goals, we may make sure that our digital behaviors are consistent with our Stoic pursuit of a moral life. Life in encouraging Stoic perseverance in the face of digital overload. Plans for using digital media and engaging in Stoic contemplation stand up as crucial tactics. These behaviors help us approach the digital world with mindfulness and a sense of purpose, ensuring that our interactions with technology support our pursuit of a moral and satisfying life. By reflecting on our interactions with technology and adjusting our digital habits accordingly, we can lessen the noise and distractions that are a part of the digital landscape and find clarity and peace in the midst of chaos. Lesson 8. The Path of Stoicism. Digital Moderation. Lesson 8. By putting Stoic practices into practice for digital discipline, we can use technology purposefully to improve our lives without sacrificing our pursuit of virtue, mindfulness, and personal development. By doing this, we manage to find a balance that enables us to benefit from the digital world while staying firmly grounded in the actual world and totally immersed in the depth of our sensory experiences, both intellectual and emotional, as well as physical. Lesson in Recovering Concentration in the Distracted Age in which Digital. Lesson 9. Regaining Focus. Since distractions compete for our attention constantly, from the moment we get up until we go to sleep, maintaining our focus has become a critical task. With its focus on morality, self-control, and reason, the Stoic school of thought provides important insights about controlling our attention and focusing it on what really matters. This course looks about how we might use Stoic ideas to develop a profound and long-lasting, recognizing the intrinsic importance of our attention. In Stoicism is the first step in regaining our focus. Focus allows us to navigate the age of distraction with grace and purpose. The idea of prose, or mindful attention, emphasizes the significance of being fully present and engaged in the task or experience at hand. Mindfulness is not just about productivity. It's a way for us to show ourselves and the people and things that deserve our attention, that we value as a limited and valuable resource. By choosing to spend our attention on things that support our values and advance our personal development, we become more selective about how we use it. To bolster our ability to concentrate in the face of ceaseless distractions, we must exercise self-control and cultivate values that are fundamental to Stoic philosophy. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius calls for a life led with aim and purpose, free from the oppressive grip of fruitless attempts to develop this disciplined concentrate. We can establish concrete, achievable objectives for our time every day, such as spending only uninterrupted time working, having deep interactions with loved ones, or indulging in personal interests and hobbies. We may improve our time management and focus by putting strategies like the Pomodoro technique, digital minimalism, or planned technology breaks into practice. Additionally, engaging in mindfulness meditation can improve our capacity to return our attention to the present moment when it wanders. Establishing a conducive atmosphere for concentration is important, since it influences our ability to sustain focus. To establish an environment that fosters focus, we can apply the Stoic virtues of self-control and simplicity. This may entail organizing both our digital and physical workspaces, disabling unnecessary messages, and creating routines that serve as mental cues, thoughts. It's time to concentrate. As the Stoics remind us, exterior circumstances do not have to control our interior states. By deliberately creating environments that reduce distractions, we give ourselves the ability to focus in the face of chaos outside. Understanding the importance of our attention, fortifying our resolve to focus, and establishing surroundings that encourage concentration will enable us to resist the pull of digital distractions. Regaining focus in the age of distraction is not just a practical necessity, but also a Stoic endeavor that is consistent with the pursuit of a moral and meaningful life. By adopting this Stoic mindset, we can live a more purposeful existence, completely engrossed in the richness of each moment and the activities at hand, leading to a life of productivity, fulfillment, and tranquility. Teaching Lesson 10: Fostering Contentment in a Society of Comparison. In today's digital world, with social media platforms replete with well-edited pictures of success and perfection, it's simple to get caught up in the trap of endless comparison. This never-ending loop of comparing our lives to those of others can cause sentiments of jealousy and dissatisfaction. The dissatisfaction caused by digital comparison can be effectively countered by Stoicism, which places a strong emphasis on inner virtue and personal excellence. This lesson explores how Stoic ideas can foster contentment in our lives by teaching us to value our individual journeys without giving in to peer pressure. Accepting Stoic self-sufficiency. The core idea of Stoic philosophy is self-sufficiency, or autora, which promotes obtaining contentment and satisfaction internally, rather than depending on outside events or other people's favor. This idea instructs us to concentrate on our personal development and virtues, realizing that embracing Stoic self-sufficiency and leading a life that is consistent with our principles will lead to true contentment. We get the ability to value our own accomplishments and attributes without having to measure them against those of others. This change in viewpoint enables us to use social media and other digital platforms as resources for inspiration and connection, rather than as venues for comparison. Realizing that each person's journey has its own significance and that every person's route is distinct, expressing appreciation and acceptance. The development of thankfulness and acceptance is another Stoic practice that promotes contentment. By concentrating on what we have rather than what we lack, we can combat the emotions of jealousy and unhappiness that frequently result from digital comparison. The Stoics recommend reflecting every day on the things we have to be grateful for, such as our health, our relationships, and even the difficulties that push us to grow. By practicing thankfulness, we can become deeply appreciative of the present moment and change our focus from seeking approval from others to appreciating the richness of our own life. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us to accept our limitations, our current circumstances, and the fact that some things are beyond our control. This acceptance does not imply surrender, but rather an understanding that our true power lies in our effort and attitude. By accepting what we cannot change and concentrating our energies on what we can, we are able to free ourselves from the dissatisfaction brought on by comparison. It takes attention, introspection, and a dedication to Stoic values by accepting self-sufficiency, practicing appreciation, and accepting our own journey to cultivate contentment in a world of comparison. We are capable of navigating the digital world in a contented and peaceful manner. In addition to improving our well-being, this Stoic approach enables us to interact with digital media in a healthy and constructive way, upholding the Stoic ideal of leading a life characterized by virtue, contentment, and resilience even in the face of contemporary distractions as we navigate the endless streams of information. Final thoughts on Stoic wisdom regarding alerts, contrasts, and diversions. Let us take the timeless wisdom of Stoicism with us in a world that frequently seems to be created to divert our attention and disturb our peace. The Stoic teachings offer a beacon of clarity and purpose, and we should never forget that it is not the noise around us that defines our lives, but rather the strength and tranquility we develop. We not only regain our focus, but also find a deeper sense of fulfillment and contentment by putting the principles of mindfulness, moderation, and self-reflection into practice. As we move forward, let's take on the task of living intentionally in a time of distraction. Ignoring the noise isn't just about turning away from the digital chaos. It's about turning towards a life of meaningful engagement, both online and off. In this quest, may we find that the greatest treasures are not found in our feeds or followers, but in the moments of connection, reflection, and peace that